Hi all, welcome to my review of the MSC Virtuosa and the cruise that I took in March earlier this year, which was the Northern Pearls cruise, going to Hamburg, Rotterdam, Bruges and Le Havre. However, we did encounter a little bit of a problem on this cruise, so if you want to find out what happened, carry on listening for more. So this is just a little bit of a room tour for you. As you can see, we had a balcony stateroom. We had plenty of room. By this time, we had messed up a little bit, but you can see there's plenty of room and it was very clean when we came in there. The only issue we did have is the bathroom was a tiny bit small, but for a cruise ship bathroom, it wasn't terrible at all, and it was incredibly clean, so you can't complain really with that one. So overall, room 5-star, can't complain, clean twice a day. Excellent. Very good. So we started to settle in and we decided to have a look around, and we first of all came across the Starship Club, which had the robot that makes drinks for you. It was very cool but very, very expensive, so I'd recommend you just either stick to your all-inclusive package or stick to the drinks that are in the buffet for free. This was very expensive. Moving on to the outdoor areas, as it went dark, we decided to have a look to see what the aft of the ship looked like. So the aft had a huge swimming pool, lots of space to sit down in the summertime, I can imagine. Yeah, so a huge area. It even has a running track, as you can see on the floor there. As we go up the stairs, we'll show you the view from Southampton. This was about 30 minutes before sailing. So really cool. There you go. A view of Southampton for you there. Okay, so this is the main area with the big swimming pool. The gym just to the left there, and at the back you've got the indoor swimming pool. We then decided to sit here as it starts to set sail. It did set off a little bit late actually, but it was brilliant watching it set sail from here inside the indoor swimming pool. So very cool. We also got a great view of the Isle of Wight as we was passing it. We was on the correct side to see it, so I was very happy about that. I've never been to the Isle of Wight before, but as you do come out of Southampton Port, about 20-30 minutes in, you do start to see Isle of Man in the distance, and you do go past it, which is really cool, and good to see. A bit of a view as you leave it. So prior to coming on this cruise, we did have a lot of people saying that they had a lot of noise from this cabin, but really we didn't have any noise at all. It was very quiet. Apparently there was a lot of complaints of noise coming from the pillars above, and also the deck chairs scratching as they put them out in the morning, but we didn't have any issues with that at all. It was a perfectly quiet cabin. So we were definitely happy with the discount that we took. As you can see, that's the overhang. It's not much of a stop in the view. So the next morning we went to deck 6 to go and have a look at the waves with the big windows, which was really cool being that close to the sea. My son loved it. There's a lot of areas on deck 6 to explore, but we'll get to them soon. As you can see, this is a bit more of a view of deck 6. So this is the view that you get from the buffet restaurant on deck 15. So as you're eating your food, you can look out onto the waves. It's excellent. The buffet does get quite busy, but if you go at the right times and sit in the right places, you'll be okay. So this is the view of our dining room. It is just on the aft on deck 6. I think this is the Symphony. There is, I think, 2 or 3 other dining rooms. So all the MSC theatre shows, which are at the forward of the ship on deck 6, these are all included in the cruise price. You don't pay any extra, you just have to book these on the MSC app whilst you're on board. They are good considering they're free of charge, but there are better shows if you're willing to pay in the other theatre. So our first port of call was Hamburg. So this is Hamburg Port. This was about 6 AM in the morning. So it was the first time me and my son had ever been out of the UK. So being our first time abroad, we decided to use the MSC excursions. We just thought it'd be the safest option, just as we don't know where we're going, and it would be better just to make sure the ship definitely waits for us if we get lost. The excursion was okay in Hamburg, but for the money, I wouldn't say it was really worth it. You got very little time actually in Hamburg off the bus. So there's pros and cons of the excursions, but if you're confident enough to go out alone, I'd recommend doing so. It cost us around £70 for this excursion, and it was only about an hour. The excursion did include the return bus after you'd spent some time in Hamburg. However, after the excursion, there wasn't very much time to look around Hamburg. So we made the most of what we could and we visited a few of the sites. And then we hopped back onto this bus back that took you straight back to the port. So not a bad day. I did get a little bit of footage inside Hamburg City Hall, which was pretty nice to visit, but we didn't have a lot of time in there. So after a long day in Hamburg, the ship set sail back down the River Elbe, so this was us leaving Hamburg. It was quite a nice view as we was going down the river, which was quite cool. We enjoyed it, so we sat there on the balcony and had a look out at the houses and the buildings as we was leaving. We really enjoyed it. So I'm still not exactly sure what these boats are for, but I know they came in at every point when we was coming into a port. So I have a feeling they might be something to do with guiding you in and out of the ports. But if anyone does know what they are, please let me know. I'm interested. So next we had a sea day. Decided to check out the kids club, which was brilliant. We had a football court, basketball court. There's an arcades area. There's a, I think, 5D cinema, which was really cool. There's also a bowling alley and some other VR things to do as well. And there's a couple of bars in it. So you can also leave your kids in the kids club whenever you want, free of charge. So after the sea day, we landed finally the next morning in the port of Zeebrugge. So we also had an excursion for this day, which took us to Bruges. It was a little bit better than the Hamburg excursion, but again, still expensive for the money that you pay, and it was more expensive than the Hamburg excursion. I'd recommend just getting a train out there. It's much, much easier. So Bruges turned out to be my favourite place that we visited. It's got some really nice buildings, it's very clean. It's a complete contrast to the UK, so we would definitely visit Bruges again. So again, like Hamburg, the excursion wasn't brilliant. It took a very long time. I imagine it would be really good for someone who potentially is disabled or an older person maybe that wants to go a bit slower pace. But as a young person, it was just simply too slow. I could have got around this much, much quicker had I done it alone. So I think next time when I go on an MSC cruise, I'll definitely try and go out on my own and just make sure I'm back in time for the ship. So Bruges is a little bit like Northern Europe's Venice. It has loads of waterways and it would have been brilliant to go on a boat tour. But we just had to settle for going down some cobbled streets instead because we didn't have an awful lot of time after the excursion had finished. But again, still a great way to finish off. And my son loved walking around Bruges. Got really excited because it's somewhere new for him. So the next day, I was walking about 5 AM with the sound of us going into Rotterdam port. It was a really nice lit up view of Rotterdam as we was going in, so it wasn't the worst thing to wake up to. But I would have liked to have got a little bit more sleep before going out for the day into Rotterdam. But overall, a brilliant sailing. So this is Rotterdam port in the morning. So we went for breakfast and this was the view from breakfast. A really, really nice view from where you dock. Lots of lovely buildings in Rotterdam. It's well worth a visit, especially to the cube yellow houses and also to the market. You can see a huge, huge, huge city. Very, very nice. We did, however, abandon the idea of going to Rotterdam for the morning, and we decided to go on an excursion out to Gouda, which was a brilliant place to visit, a really, really nice town, and had some brilliant cheese shops there as well. So this is the centre of Gouda. This is the town hall, I believe. It has a little clock where there's little figures that come out of the wall every hour. It's a really cool place to visit. Not too big, quite quiet, but really, really nice architecture there. Big churches and really interesting city hall. Not only that, but the residents of Gouda were really, really welcoming. We went into a few shops. As we sat down to have a meal, the staff came over and spoke to us. I think they maybe wanted to practice a little bit of English. But yeah, everyone was lovely, really, really polite and nice people. So overall, Gouda is the friendliest place that I've been to abroad so far. Very, very nice. Would go again. Oh, they also have a Lego shop that the children can go in to play in. It's completely free of charge to go in there as well. They do have a shop, but they do also have a place to play. So we did also visit Rotterdam in the afternoon and visited the cube houses and the marketplace. We then had a change of destination due to port strikes, and we ended up diverting to Amsterdam the next day instead of visiting Le Havre. So with that in mind, we rebooked our excursion to go to Southampton instead of going to our Paris excursion due to not being able to go to Le Havre. Southampton was well worth the change of itinerary. So this is Southampton. It was a Dutch countryside area, mainly famous for its windmills. As you can see, quite a lot of them in the distance. It was a really nice, peaceful area to visit. Wasn't too expensive for tourists either. We didn't have the rip-off prices that you do in other tourist areas, so I can't complain at all. We also visited Edam, where my son had a clog made for him as well. And this was all included in the price of the excursion, which was much cheaper than the other ones that we'd booked. Just a short review of the restaurant. The waiter was fantastic, and I have a gluten allergy, and he was brilliant and very accommodating for that. You can't complain at all with the restaurants on the ship. Very, very good. Following lunch on the ship, we decided to go into Amsterdam for an hour or so, just to have a look around. So this is the Dam Square. Very busy tourist area. So if you're not into crowds, then Dam Square is not a good place for you to visit. But there is a lot of interesting sights to see there, and there's plenty to do. So after a long visit to the Dam Square and having something to eat, we decided to go back to the ship in style, using a cyclist and carriage. Very eco-friendly. And it was a brilliant ride. Very bumpy, but brilliant ride. And it only cost us around €20 to get from the Dam Square back to the port, so you can't really complain at that price. So, having had a fantastic week, it was finally time to leave the port of Amsterdam. We was both very sad to be leaving, but we'd had a fantastic holiday. I hope to be putting some more videos up of our adventures around the world. We have had many this year. Please like and subscribe. There will be more videos going up, as I said, so keep following, and we look forward to you joining us on our next adventure. Take care, all.